I think you got two different scenes. I mean, there's the Rice Boy scene, and then there's, you know, the faster car scene. You know, as far as like guys that aren't into the body kits and shit like that, like as far as that getting bigger, that's cool. But like as far as the Rice Boy shit, you don't really got to worry about the Rice Boys with the clear taillights and stuff like that. Whatever, you know, they're gonna go to their car shows. But I mean, it's good that more people are getting into it as far as like, you know, building motors and having nice, you know, clean cars done properly. That's cool. It's always cool to meet more people like that, you know.
As with any passion or hobby, we can all remember our first experiences and what got us hooked. The people in this film come from different areas and are different ages, yet all share a love for automobiles and import tuning. This love resulted from different reasons, yet the outcomes were always the same.
How I got into this whole import mess. Well, I dreamt about it for a long time, riding around in my mini truck, so I already claimed myself to being a part of the import scene because I didn't drive a domestic car. I'm originally from Alabama. I guess the accent will give that away right away. But the true heart of the South, the true heart of NASCAR, I have nothing to do with NASCAR. I've never had any inspirations for NASCAR. And I grew up racing motorcycles, you know, Yamaha, flat track. So I already had a love for the Japanese bikes. And I remember growing up always wanting a 1980 to 83 GTI. And my brother and myself just racing all the back roads of Alabama, you know, just like if I would have only known about rally then.
I've been into cars my whole life, really. I mean, ever since I could speak, walk, crawl. I remember being, you know, 10, 12, 13, 14, just walking home from school and seeing all the older kids with their cars.
When I was 16, I met a couple of guys that were really into cars, mostly import cars. When I finally got a car, you know, I looked up to this one guy. His name was Jebo Lopez, and he was kind of like an older brother to me because he was also Filipino and he was really into cars, and that's what kind of sparked my interest.
My roommate now, which was my good friend since 5th grade, he picked up a 98 Type R when we were in high school, and that set it off.
Yeah, there was like a group of us. First it was like me and my friend Dylan, Eric had a car. We all skated together basically, and then we all eventually got into cars.
Before I even got my driver license, I was going with older friends to the street races. Actually, Catman and a couple other guys, we'd meet up with them and go to the street races, so I was hooked.
We were at a family party, and we noticed one of our older cousins, he had a 95 Civic Coupe EX.
It was white, it was lower, and had like freaking 95 GSRs on them.
Yeah, he came up from the Bay, in the Bay Area, and then we started like learning all his tricks and stuff with the Hondas.
I don't know, I was just looking for something different, you know, and then, you know, we all, like 3 of my buddies also got Hondas too. And I went to Tampa, which is what really got me into it. And I saw my buddy John had a CRX with a B16 in it. And this was back in '97. So I took a ride in it, and that was it. That was, you know, what got me into it completely. And then I ended up getting a 93 hatch, and it took a little while before I got my first motor, but then once I got a B16, I decided to put it in myself, and I mean, there was a lot of problems along the way because I was just 17 at the time. Yeah, I'm all self-taught, and I mean, I learned through trial and error, you know? And it was me and a couple of my other buddies, they started, you know, of course we started, you know, just getting the intake and the header and that kind of stuff like that, but then once we actually started, you know, doing the motor swaps, it was me and my one buddy, Chris, you know, we just really got into it.
Oh, it all started with bikes, just basic mechanics. Wanting to work on something is kind of just where I started with anything, just wanted to put my hands on stuff, and then it it moved into wanting to work on the cars. Obviously, turning 16, you got to be able to drive, you got to be able to do something with something, and it just started with a 90 Accord and went from there, and I just built stuff up, and it's just like you just hate being the same, you want to be different, you want to do something different, and you just kind of build it.
The project car, the driving force behind everyone in this film. Although each project car is different, and every person's style is different, all tuners will agree that a project car becomes much more than just a car.
You know, when you're into it, it consumes you, it's everything. It's all your money, it's all your time, you know, it turns out to be your girlfriend, it turns out to be like all of your friends that you surround yourself with. Everybody knows what you do and how much you do it, and it's the greatest thing when you can make it work right.
This guy flips through cars like he's women.
All right. Oh, hey. I wasn't in the name of my car.
Lisa, Angela, Pamela, Renee.
I love you from around the way.
My favorite was my blue CRX because it was like when the transplants just came in, so we put LS motor and it was LS with JG 301 cams.
Yeah, like
and I remember like racing El Natural on the street, and that was fun. Those are the fun days.
I had a white Del Sol, the flat black 4-door EF. I had a black DA.
Yeah, I sold my hatch. Yeah, sold my hatch to my father. Turned it back to stock because he always wanted the car, good mileage or whatever. And then bought the first Type R I ever rode in, which is behind me. Bought that for my roommate. Pulled the turbo. It was a fully built Dart and solid deck sleeves, you know, turbo, all that crap. Sold it. Got a 11.6 to 1 bottom end setup in there. Got some plans. Keep it clean.
To a black EK hatch. From there, I got out of it a little bit. Bought a BMW. Hated it. I didn't hate it. I just got bit. I got bit.
You loved it.
That was a different BMW. I had another BMW before that. Got bit by the bug again. Jumped in, got my second 4-door EF, the silver one.
My first car of one of my recent builds was a 1990 Honda Civic EF. It was a sedan. I kind of chose that car at that time because I was really the whole story was I was really looking for an EG at the time, but at the time they were going for about $5 grand, $6 grand for a stock one, a nice clean one, and I didn't really want to spend that much money on that because I'm, just like anybody else, a budget, racer, budget builder and whatnot, and I used to have a 4-door in high school. And so my plans to get an EG back then, because of the whole price thing, I said, you know what, why don't I just take it back with something what I used to have. So I bought a 4-door Civic, 1990 Civic, and a lot of people at the time were really cautious as far as, turboing it and whatnot. And those were my big plans, to show that you can turbo basically out of the junkyard, an import yard motor, and just through fine tuning and whatnot, you wouldn't have any problems. That was kind of like my whole story to that. And I've always been into the whole Japanese look. The look in Japan is different than it is here in the US. In Japan they have a one-piece headlight. It's got a different hood, it's got a different fender, it's actually got a grille, just like an old school Accord. And I sourced it and decided to put that together, built that together. Got the fine tuning out as far as tuning the turbo. Also kind of put together a lot of stuff that I researched on, which is HKS B-Series manifold, which is a hardware piece to find these days because at that time HKS didn't come full force with their B-Series turbo kit. And I was able to source that. It was a fun project. I learned a lot from that.
All of the people in this film can remember their first projects and can relate to the feeling of working countless hours all to afford that one rare part that they just had to have, and finally achieving a personal goal or idea relating to their cars.
As weird as it sounds, I tell you, and I don't know if anyone could relate to me that will watch this video, but my first car, like I said, was a 94 GSR. And I've owned some pretty nice supercars throughout the years. You know, of course, being an enthusiast, I've been, you know, anything from S2000s, Type Rs, you know, Evolution. I mean, anything in general. So, but it, you know, nothing ever gives you that feeling your first car does. You know, it's like you get your first license, you get that car, you get a set of wheels. It's like you always remember that in your mind, you know. But as far as and personally in favor, I've always been an enthusiast.